Hello, thanks for tuning in again. So this is your May Positive Images Festival Poetry Workshop. I'm Emily, I'm a poet from Coventry and I run these workshops. So usually we would be at Central Library in Coventry, but obviously we're not doing that. So here we are online again. The wonderful thing about this is that I've had so many lovely comments and messages, also ones relating to the guinea pigs as much as the poetry, as Molly featured on one. But it's been just so nice to hear people who wouldn't have accessed these sessions otherwise being able to have a go at the activity. So thank you very much. If there's anyone you know who isn't online or for whatever reason would benefit from having a written copy of the activities, we want to make these as accessible as possible, then just put a comment below and I can get in touch with you, or feel free to go to my website and email me from there, or my Facebook page, and we'll make sure that everyone who wants to see this can do. So thanks again for tuning in. Apparently I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe to my channel because I don't understand really all the benefits, but if people subscribe to it, apparently that helps it become more well known and other people then will know about it. So there's a button down there, I think, that you can press that says subscribe, and that would be awesome. There's absolutely no pressure to, but it does mean also whenever I put a workshop video up or anything else, you'll be the first to know about it, and you'll straight away know that's there for you when you want to see it. Alright, so I think that's that's sort of the housekeeping out of the way. So thanks again to Positive Images Festival for funding these workshops in the form they are taking. And I always say when I run sessions, it's lovely to start off with a really quick writing activity, because even if you do nothing else, you know you have done some writing today, something creative. So I'll set you a quick one and give you some time to have a go at that. I'd love it if we could have a look at poems with two voices in. So maybe if you've been to events, you've seen it when two people go up and they read a bit each. You might have seen it with more than two people, or you might not have come across this type of poetry before. And even if you've seen it being performed, maybe you haven't seen it in a written version. So hopefully this will be interesting. We're going to have a look at a poem called Honeybees, which is by Paul Fleischman, and it's taken from his book Joyful Noise, Poems for Two Voices, which you can get on Amazon and I should imagine various other places. It's a really nice family one. It's one you can enjoy with kids and grandkids and all the rest of it, and if you're a teacher with children at school. So I can recommend that one. So I will get to this copy of the poem, and I'll tell you a bit about the author, because I know I'm nosy, so it's probably just that, but I love to know who it is whose work I'm reading, which is completely the opposite of when we were taught in uni about death of the author and how it heads into your hands after they've written it. I like to know who it is. So this is by Paul Fleischman. As I said, he's a novelist and poet and is from California. He was born there in 1952. He's the author of the Newbery Award-winning book Joyful Noise, Poems for Two Voices, which is the one this poem is taken from, and numerous other works of fiction, non-fiction, drama, poetry, and he does picture books for little kids as well. So he started writing when he was in college, and his work was inspired a lot by folklore. His musical interests are also reflected in his poems for two and four speakers, and he calls them like chamber music for speaking voices, which I think is a really nice term. Multiple points of view are also used in his novels, and that he's won awards for as well. So he was really interesting to look up earlier. Now, don't worry that you can't see this very clearly. It's in the book, and I think maybe if you Google it, you'll find a copy as well. But this is taken from the books. This is Honeybees. You don't need to be able to read this. I'll read it to you. But I just wanted to show you how it's formatted in those two columns to reflect the two different voices. And it's not, you don't read one and then the other. I suppose you could do. They would make sense as two separate poems. But the intention, if they're being performed by two people, is that if something's on the same line here, as that is, the two people speak at the same time, and then it goes to the next piece of text down, and depending which side it's on, that is who says it. So I don't know how good a view that was, but hopefully you could see the outline, even you didn't need to see the words. How I will read it is I will read it as if I'm two people. So they're the two different stories of two different bees. Being a bee is a joy, is a pain. I am a queen. I am a worker. I'll gladly explain upon rising. I'm fed by my royal attendants. I'm up at dawn, guarding the hive's narrow entrance. I'm bathed. Then I take out the hive's morning trash. Then I'm groomed. Then I put in an hour making wax without 2 minutes time to sit and relax. The rest of my day is quite simply set forth. Then I might collect nectar from the field 3 miles north. I lay eggs. Or perhaps I'm on larval detail by the 100. Feeding grubs in their cells, wishing I was still helpless and pale. So that's honeybees. Obviously it is significantly better with two people, but I hope you got the idea from that. And if I just read down the second column there, you can see how it does work on its own. Being a bee is a joy. I am a queen. I'll gladly explain upon rising. I'm fed by my royal attendants. I'm bathed, then I'm groomed. The rest of the day is quite simply set forth. I lay eggs by the 100. The bit I really like about this though is on the worker bee side, those last 4 lines. Feeding grubs in their cells, wishing I was still helpless and pale. And I think that's when you have nature poetry that is essentially about a bee, but you can take it out of that and actually really relate to that on a human level as well. So that's my take on it. Grab my different bits of paper because I can't memorise all this, I'm afraid. So your challenge, should you choose to accept it. At the moment, many of our conversations are happening on the phone or over Zoom or various other media online video apps. So have a go at drafting a poem where the two voices or entities, they don't have to be human, they don't even have to be living things, they could be inanimate objects, but have a go where there's two voices in your poem and that they're having a conversation of some sort. So it could be an online conversation, it could be a conversation between two objects that are in the same room, or like the two honeybees in the poem that we just looked at. So really think about how the form is used and in those two columns to reflect those two separate voices. So don't worry about creating a finished poem in like 10 minutes. Have a go, maybe give yourself 10-15 minutes just to write some thoughts down and get into the heads of those two different people. It might help to be one person first and then maybe do a responding voice. Or you could write them both how they respond to each other and things that are said. It's very much up to you how you want to approach this. But the point of it is that however you choose to do it, you've had a go, you've done something creative, and you've had a look at getting two voices across in a poem. Okay, I will see you in the next video for the next activity, and I have got an exciting new poetry thing that is been launched and that I had a go at myself this morning. So come back if you're interested in what that is. Thank you.